Do you think the president knows anything of what's going on at this point? Or do you think none of it's rolling up to him? It's just purely a Pompeo, John Bolton. These are some of the guys that, of course, we're not on the side of Trump. Do you think they're trying to manipulate this whole thing, overselling it, underselling it? What do you think is really the motive behind closed doors?
Trap. I think it's a trap, period. We've seen this. You saw the J6. You saw it with the Russia collusion hoax. We saw the Mueller report. You've seen it with the Christopher Wray stuff. And all the actors were the same. And so why not? Why not use this as another attempt to attack the president, right? And so the president's intent is to, let's be honest. Let me be perfectly clear as a military strategist. Why do we need Venezuela? And we don't need the oil. We need to deny oil to China, Russia in the event of another large-scale war, i.e. World War III. This is evidenced by the fact that China has been, I think they're finished now. They've been building a refinery capable of refining Venezuelan crude. As you know, it has higher sulfur content. We can refine it in the U.S. Now China can also. And so what we're seeing today is the president and the narrative with the drug stuff, that's all fine and dandy. Venezuela is to the United States what Ukraine is to Russia. Venezuela is strategic/tactical white space for Russia, China to come over to this hemisphere, violate the Monroe Doctrine, and use Venezuela's ports, use its air facilities to stage for possible strikes on the United States. Let's just call it what it is. Let's cut through all the narrative. Right? Same thing as Russia, Ukraine. Let's cut through all the narrative. Why did Russia invade Ukraine? They did it because they want to deny white space, tactical/strategic white space to NATO, i.e. they don't want their neighboring country to have an influx of NATO war material /weapons labs /whatever. Why is President Trump wanting to secure NATO or wanting to secure Venezuela? He's trying to secure it for at the national strategic for a possible escalation of war with Russia, China. So here's why. If you ask me why the CIA and why Mike Pompeo and Gina Haspel and Christopher Wray and all these bad actors, why did they undermine the President Trump, who made a valid action? The valid action is, hey, let's do a bloodless change of leadership in Venezuela, and let's adhere to the Monroe Doctrine versus what's happening now, which is let's invade. 4 years ago was better. 4 years ago, Venezuela's generals would have policed Venezuela. They would have taken out the tyrannical Nicolas Maduro, and he would have been replaced in fair and free elections. Fast forward to today, we're looking at invasion, right? So how many U.S. lives is that going to cost? I don't know. Are there hypersonics in Venezuela? How many Russia-China forces are there? Can we establish air superiority? Like the short answer is yes. That's beyond the scope of this discussion. But we're the United States. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to. We have the most powerful military force on the planet.
What I'm hearing you're saying is what you're saying is you supported, if this was a Pompeo Pence plan to do a bloodless operation using you guys, which led to 6 to 8 people getting killed. A couple guys, I think it's Aaron Berry and Luke Denman. Apparently they went to jail for what, 20 years in Venezuela?
No, they're out. They're out. They went to jail for 3 years.
And they were in Venezuela.
They're in Venezuela.
And so Maduro released them.
Maduro released them.
So this is the part where it gets tricky, where some people don't believe anything with this operation, where all of this was an act to use as a sign of strength from Maduro to manipulate against Juan, because you have to realize ever since then, Juan at one point was a rock star. If I'm not even mistaken, President Trump was giving a speech and he had Juan stand up, or if he had, he had him in one of the, I don't know what it was, if it was a, right, I remember that. So everybody was like, yeah, he was already recognized by other countries as the president of Venezuela. Yeah, that's one right there, Rob. You just pulled it up. Is that the one? Watch President.
Yep, at the State of the Union.
At the State of the Union, right there. If you want to play it.
That's why my administration reversed the failing policies of the previous administration.
Can you fast forward
Cuba.
to see? Keep going until right there. Right when you see the when you see the spike on it, keep going. That's when he probably stands
The
up.
true and legitimate president of Venezuela.
There you go.
Juan Guaido. Mr. President, please take this message back to your family.
Okay, you can pause it right there. So that happens, and today, Juan is just a regular guy.
Right.
He went from there to just being a regular. He'll walk in the airport, nobody wants to talk to him anymore. He's no longer the hero that he was supposed to be. So some people are saying maybe this whole thing was a setup. Maybe this whole thing was a lot of people don't trust. If I ask 10 people, 8 of them are going to say, there's something very fishy going on here, Jordan. That's what people say. That just doesn't sound right.
Right. So here's the narrative. I agree. The narrative that has been spun is it's completely fishy, and none of the discovery supports it. Let me do you one better. The president of the United States was embattled. We know this because of all the investigations that are going on right now. You know, I think Tulsi Gabbard just came out talking about how, what was it? You know, so the intelligence or FBI agents were, bugging members of Congress or whatever it was. I am nobody. Juan Guaido in the large scheme of things is nobody. These bad actors, why are they coming after me? Like, why? The judge even said it. Why are you going after this guy? It's been 4.5 years at my arraignment. This was a year ago. Nobody can understand why it was so imperative to get a guy like me and take me to trial. And here's why. Because the implications for the president of the United States are being used as a political weapon, political weaponization. This entire operation, and they call it Operation Gideon. It wasn't Operation Gideon. It was always Operation Edgemont. But I digressed. This entire operation was designed to embarrass the president. And look at the fallout, right? The president was implicated in CNN and AP and all of these other publications. So back then, we had a U.S.-aligned president in Brazil. We had a U.S.-aligned president in Colombia. After this happened with Juan Guaido in the fallout, now you have leftists in Brazil and in Colombia who are working with China and Russia. If you ask me why the CIA would want to destabilize the United States, I don't know. If you ask me why Mike Pompeo and Christopher Wray and Gina Haspel would want to not adhere to the Monroe Doctrine, you'd have to ask them that. But they did it. I think maybe attacking Trump was higher on their priority list. Maybe they thought in the aftermath that I don't know. Maybe they could figure it out with South America. I'm not too sure about the strategy because it was terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think that the leftists, like when AP came out and AP said after investigation found no evidence that the U.S. approved the invasion of U.S. officials and U.S. officials have denied having any role in it. So this is AP. AP is dying to find something to destroy Trump.
They're not. The AP is dying to protect the CIA. They will always prioritize the agency over the president. And what they realized is that the discovery points directly back to the CIA. So when you look at the reporting on this, when the reporting it's like the Iraqi invasion, right? When the reporting is bipartisan and it's like, yeah, we need to invade, the fix is in, right? And so with this reporting, this was pulled out of the news immediately. Right. It was in there. It was up for 3 days back then. It was during COVID, but it was taken out of the news cycle immediately. This has been the most heavily suppressed story of the last 4 years. Nobody wants to tell this story. This movie came out. It's a Neon movie. Neon's a prolific producer. Nobody knows about that movie. They didn't promote it. It was in the theater for 1 week and they didn't promote it. Right. This story, the movie was CIA funded.
Which movie are you talking about? Men of War? Is that
exactly right? Exactly right. It was at Toronto Film Festival. So I'm not saying that the movie is an accurate representation of what happened, because it has several flaws, terrible flaws. But you have to ask yourself where the funding came from.
Adam McKay was the executive producer of the movie?
Sure, yeah. Nobody knows what this movie is. The other part is this, and this is really important to understand. There are factions in the Venezuelan opposition. Juan Guaido is not the faction leader. He's just a guy these people are able to throw away. The real leader of the opposition is a guy named Leopoldo Lopez, who has other CIA ties. He's got State Department ties. Look, Leopoldo Lopez has the ability to go and talk to Mike Pompeo directly and get people taken off the sanctions list. I know that because I read about it. I read about his strategist speaking with Mike Pompeo and Elliot Abrams, and just having them, got people like, Figueroa, who was the head of the Sabine, who's a torturer, and they just pulled him off the sanctions list. And then Forbes wrote an article about him saying he's the picture of what a Venezuelan should be. Meanwhile, he came from torturing, I don't know how many thousands of Venezuelans. So this whole story is a CIA narrative-driven masterpiece.
I mean, what Trump said about this, he said, this was a freelance amateur hour. If the U.S. wanted to invade Venezuela, it would be a large, official, and military action. And even if you look at the way he's handling it right now, it's very public. They're flying over Venezuela just to say, this is what we're capable of doing. They're blowing up boats just to say, here's what we're doing. It's to the point where Maduro, in his own sarcastic way, he probably doesn't want this, because if they do, they know they can cause them to fall. Some people are for it. A lot of people may be against it because it's another one of those, we're coming in as mercenaries to replace you and put you in a different place, but it's public. And it seems more aligned with Trump's way of doing things. When Trump took out Qasem Soleimani, he was very public about it. When Trump took out a lot of, even in his first term, he was very public about it. I don't know how much of this matches his style of doing things. I don't know.
Well, here's the deal. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but he was a sitting president. He was new, right? And so when you're a new president, you're not really going to understand the tools in your toolbox. And so one of those tools, if you come to the president, and look, the president's a smart guy. You're a business guy. The president's a smart guy. If I come to you with the choice that, look, we can lose a lot of American lives and we can make this really bloody, or I say to the president, you know what, let's make it bloodless. We'll get some guys who know how to do this, and we'll try to get the CIA to do it. They won't do it, so let's get somebody in who's private, and then let's go with that option. I'll take the other option where it's bloodless.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.